Now, first story looks at CM Punk plans for Survivor Series. On top of today's news is CM Punk appearing at Survivor Series. Now that Punk's feud with Drew McIntyre is over, fans are eager to see if Punk will challenge Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. However, that may be on hold, especially since Damian Priest is booked to challenge Gunther at Survivor Series, but according to WrestleVotes, fans should still expect to see Punk at the PLE. Last thing I heard was that he is still scheduled for Survivor Series, so we'll see. Now, it's unlikely they'll have room for more than 5 matches on Survivor Series because the WWE needs extra time for its 2 War Games matches. However, could Punk work in the men's War Game match? It's unknown who's going to join Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn and the Usos as they face Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa and Jacob Fatu, as well as their 5th man. Now, there were rumors that a certain wrestler would be the 5th man in the War Games Survivor Series match, which we covered in the news yesterday. However, we'll try not to spoil it here. However, what if Roman's tribal council Paul Heyman returns? Punk's loyalty to CM Punk is well known, and it's possible that the straight-edge superstar could side with Roman Reigns. Punk is more popular than ever, and an appearance in the upcoming 30th November PLE would be apropos given his return to the WWE at last year's Survivor Series event. Given these 2 factors, it makes sense that Punk should do more than show up for TV time and just maybe cut a promo. Next up are rumors on Paul Heyman's WWE return. Now, is Paul Heyman returning to WWE soon? This is a top topic on WWE fans' mind ever since Roman Reigns returned to WWE. Bill Apter discussed Heyman during a Q&A on the Backstage Pass Patreon show, saying, Paul Heyman was at the big event convention this past Sunday in Long Island, and that was a question that everyone was asking. His answer was, soon enough. So he is, from what I understand. I haven't seen him, but he's allegedly backstage at all the TV shows right now. Do you think Paul Heyman will return at Survivor Series? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Dave Meltzer under fire. Some recent comments from Dave Meltzer aren't sitting well with veteran wrestler Dutch Mantell. Mantell has had a lot on his proverbial plate, with he and his wife reportedly battling severe medical issues and the financial problems that unfortunately come with them. Consequently, a GoFundMe was set up to help Mantell, with AEW President Tony Khan and AEW wrestler Chris Jericho donating, as well as Jim Cornette, who actually made the biggest donation. So what does Dave Meltzer have to do with this? Well, it turns out that Dutch Mantell is furious about the following comments Meltzer made in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter about the GoFundMe and Mantell's previous criticism of AEW. They had raised $64,200, with most of the top donors being anonymous, and the largest known donors were Tony Khan at $5,000 and Chris Jericho at $1,500. With Khan, many have pointed out that Mantell as a podcaster was brutal to Khan, even being critical of him when the promotion was at its popularity peak, and recently criticized him for the contract terms Swerve Strickland has got in his recent deal. But Meltzer complained that Mantell's criticisms aren't valid. Wrestlers using the old school "he doesn't draw money" and not understanding that this isn't a mom and pop week-to-week business based on live event numbers, but one in the worst case scenario would generate $250 million next year, and most of that revenue is guaranteed ahead of time. It's unclear why Meltzer made this comment, and some people believe that they were in bad taste, not because Meltzer was sharing his thoughts on Mantell's analysis of AEW, but because of the timing. Dutch Mantell was angry with Meltzer's remarks and addressed them on the latest episode of his podcast, Storytime with Dutch Mantell. Well, I try not to give anything Dave Meltzer writes any believability or credence, but that kind of pissed me off. Dutch, who also worked as a booker during his wrestling career, noted his long-standing complaint with AEW is lack of storytelling, but he explained why he's furious with Meltzer. Think about it, how many people has Meltzer knocked when they were at their lowest points? And sure, you could knock me, Dave, but you're knocking my family now. That's crossing the line in almost any business. I almost died. My wife almost died. But you had to use that just to make a point that you don't like me. His criticism of Meltzer continued, along with a hint of possible physical retribution. So yes, I've said not so flattering things about Tony Khan, but Meltzer, you've done a lot worse because you've had this platform a lot longer than I have. I was just doing my job and you pissed me off. I'm still recovering from what he said, and honestly, if I could, I'd walk up to him and just slap the dog shit out of him. Not a punch, but a slap, because some things deserve a good hard slapping. I've read Meltzer's stuff, and I could criticize that too. 2024 has been a really rough year for Meltzer, as more wrestling fans and wrestlers criticize his work. For example, earlier this year, Dave confused a 2014 promo with The Rock and Triple H with The Rock's 2024 appearance that started the build to WrestleMania 40, thinking that these two were actually going to have a match. These latest comments aren't going to help Meltzer, and it'll be interesting to see if he responds to Mantell's comments. Next up, an update on the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. Or what has happened to the WWE introducing a Women's Intercontinental Championship? The WWE's recent announcement of a secondary title for its women's division, the United States Championship on SmackDown, had some fans expecting the promotion to announce a new title on Raw. That didn't happen, leading to confusion over whether the US Championship will be the only secondary women's title for both brands or an announcement is forthcoming. A recent report from Fightful Select revealed a talent we spoke to said that there was no discussion of a women's Intercontinental title backstage at WWE Raw. It's unclear whether the WWE is waiting to introduce a second women's single title to Raw, or it's decided it doesn't need two secondary titles. There are many possibilities. For example, the WWE may want to keep fans focused on the US Championship and whatever format it uses to crown the inaugural champion. Knowing Triple H, it's probably going to be a tournament. Another reason could be the WWE doesn't feel its women's roster is big enough to justify separate belts for Raw and SmackDown, much as it only has one tag team title for the women's division, including main roster and NXT. Do you guys think WWE will add another secondary women's title to the division? Is it a good idea? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Kurt Angle's biggest regret. Now, if you thought Kurt Angle was disappointed with his WWE retirement match, wait until you hear this. Kurt Angle's retirement match has always been a sore subject for him, particularly because he was asked to wrestle John Cena in his final bout and instead put Baron Corbin over. While Angle had no problem putting Baron over at the time, it sounds like he's having second thoughts. The WWE Hall of Famer discussed his retirement match during an interview with WrestleZone and the WWE's use and ultimate dismissal of Corbin. Baron, I think he's underrated. I think it kinda sucks seeing him let go. They started utilizing him in the way they should have. They had him beat me, which I was okay with. It was my last match, and obviously, you're gonna lose your last match when you retire. But Baron, after that, he ended up winning the King of the Ring, and then nothing else happened with him. Angle explained why he thinks the WWE's booking of Corbin diminished his retirement match. It's a little disappointing to know that he beat a legend at WrestleMania, the legend's last match, and they didn't do much with him after that. For me, it makes me feel like I did that for nothing. And so it's not like a screw you angle, but it kinda is. I thought they were gonna run with the kid. I thought they were gonna make him one of the top tier guys, and he was on his way. Baron Corbin fans are still processing his WWE exit and how the promotion repeatedly failed to book him well, despite his talents and ability to get under the fans' skin. Next up, Baron Corbin replies to Kurt's comments. Baron Corbin wasted no time replying to Angle's comments, tweeting, "To be fair, that's one of the reasons I wish I'd become world champ. I would have paid honor to what Kurt did for me. I will forever appreciate it and wish I could have done more to make it worth it for him." Although Corbin won a Money in the Bank briefcase, he failed to successfully cash it in against then WWE champion Jinder Mahal, with some reports suggesting backstage heat led to the decision not to put in the title on him. Next up, did WWE hold Benjamin back? Did WWE hold Shelton Benjamin back during his last run in the WWE? Here's what he had to say during an interview with AEW's Renee Paquette. "I definitely feel like I've been suppressed. I've been in the business for a little bit. I've done a few things. I definitely felt like here in AEW I've had the opportunity to show fans who I really am, what I really can do, and not me doing what I had to do for the people I worked with previously. I love that I can be me here at AEW." While Benjamin has worked in promotions beside WWE, his last run there was uneventful other than his run in the Hurt Business. And finally, a WWE superstar turning heel. Last but not least is former Hurt Business member Cedric Alexander turning heel. Alexander lost to qualifier for the Men's Iron Survivor Challenge on 12th November NXT against Wes Lee after some underhanded tactics by Lee. Following the bout, an unhappy Alexander cut a promo for NXT's digital exclusive. "I'm better than this. I'm better than this. I've been in this business for over 15 years. I've been in the WWE for over 8. I'm better than this. I should qualify for that match. I should qualify for an opportunity at the NXT Championship." As Cedric hasn't done much since he won the WWE Raw Tag Team Championship with Shelton Benjamin, and hopefully a heel turn will give the 35-year-old superstar momentum.